Welcome to the final video of this project. In this video, we're going to be putting everything together. So we're going to create this composition that you're watching right now in front of you, and we're going to animate it. I'm going to explain the reason behind me using the burgers and chips and other reasons. And yeah, this was a fun project. It was the most trace and animate of trace and animate, because I looked at it and I was like, damn, this looks like something I would do. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So first of all, the reason that I used a cold drink, it was I just wanted the scene to come alive. So for the background, and I'll explain, is that it was just a city overview. I created like a little city there, and then obviously with them in the foreground, this little birdie that you guys will see flying in the background was just birds with just it was a cycles animation. So I've talked about cycles in the previous videos, but it's basically images that loop over and over to create an animation sequence. So I gave them cold drinks because I couldn't think of, I wanted to make the scene more interesting or to add something that would make the scene more alive. So I was like, why don't I make them eat? And I was also very hungry. Like during these burgers, oh my goodness, like I became obsessed with Uber Eats after this, and I didn't get the burger. So I told myself, when I get to 50 subscribers, I'll go and buy myself a burger. That'll be my celebration for 50 subscribers, which is my goal that I'm hoping to reach. And when I reach it, I'm gonna buy a burger. So if you would like me to eat a burger, please consider subscribing. If not, then you'll make me starve, and then that's gonna be on your conscience. I'm just kidding. So again, when it comes to tracing and animate, if you're a regular viewer, you'll know that lip syncing is the most time consuming part of this project, because I think that takes about, I'll go as far as saying 80% of the work goes in lip syncing, and then the rest is just animating, which is very quick. And what I've been doing now is that instead of creating new scenes from scratch, what I do is that I create one overall scene, and then I just cut it into pieces of what I want. I mess around with the camera movements, and we create the final animation that we're looking for. So with this one, it was just a lot of lip syncing. So what I did was I did Miles first, and then right now what I'm working on is on Peter's section of the lip syncing. So you can see it is a lot of work, a lot of lip syncing, and yeah. So in total, I'm just trying to remember how long this project took. I'd say it took about, I can't recall, but it's somewhere about 4 hours. No, it can't be 4 hours. I'd say 6 hours in total to do this project. So it wasn't a lot. It could have been done in a day. It was done over the course of 2 days. So yeah. And what I liked about this project was that it is, I think, fan fiction, like at the peak. Like usually if I do fan fiction, it would look something like this, except obviously it would have more dialogue and more scenes. The only difference would be that I'd probably get someone to do the voice acting. So what I did for this one, I just took the voice acting from the actual movies and I synced them into the folder. So what I'm doing right now is just the first scene of Miles talking, and you can see there he's talking, playing around with his eyebrows and his eyes. And I think the picture that I'd used to trace of Miles, he looked awkward already. So I think in the scene with Peter, I was amazed at how well it worked together. And then here what I was doing is I was just trying to make him play with his shoes, make his shoes come sort of like, you know, playing out. I don't know how to put it in words. They were like knocking each other. And the sound effect worked by itself. Like that wasn't even a custom sound effect. Like if you listen to the opening part of this video where it starts with the dialogue, like that sound effect, that was like from just a track I got. I didn't even do it consciously. So here I'm just creating the rig for Miles Morales. We're creating his bone movement. So here I tried to make Peter look like he's drinking, but that was really horrible and it didn't look well. So here, again, I try to avoid making one character in motion and the other character still, because then it just doesn't add too well to the composition, to the of the overall video. So if you've made it into the 5-minute mark, thank you guys for making it this far. It truly means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, if you watching this video for the first time or new to my channel, excuse me, then please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, giving me a comment, you know, anything. So I'm trying to grow, and so far I think we're doing good. I'm really happy, and so I'm excited to get a burger. I don't know when that will be, but hey, consider subscribing to the Trace and Animate to give this guy a burger that he would like to eat. Just like the characters in this composition. So here what we're gonna do is that, what I wanted to do was that the background, I also wanted it to be in motion like the whole time. So what I did was I created the motion of the whole background, and then we're just gonna cut. Here what I'm doing is just creating these little birds that are gonna be flying in the background, and you can see I'm just putting them one keyframe at the beginning and the other keyframe at the end, and then the software creates that automatic movement within for you. So here you can see I'm just creating the clouds, making the clouds move. And I actually did a mistake with those ones, but then I eventually came back to fix it, and overall I was happy with the background and everything. So you can see here the camera is moving front towards them. Yeah, and the tricky part of this one is that with the previous projects, especially if I can use 300 as an example, there were so many cut scenes that I jumped from, but this one, it had one cutscene, as in the frame is one, and all I had to do was play around with the camera to be closer, to be away from the characters, and that way just to make the movement more dynamic. Now it could have been one shot, but I think that would have been very boring, so I figured that just creating a lot of movement, a lot of character movements, just really helped a lot in my case. And camera movements that did add to the composition. And even the birds, even though they're very far and they don't appear in a lot of frames, they do still add to that final effect of the general video. So I was pleased with that. So here I also created a Word document, but then I didn't need it because unlike the 300 project where I was jumping from scene to scene, this one it was just one big scene in general. So all I was doing was save as, and that helped me a lot. Those burgers and chips are very tempting with the drink. So the drink, hopefully it will be subliminal for you guys to subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, so right now I won't lie, I can't tell which scene I'm on because again, when I'm recording these videos, I'm looking at the preview. So not the render, I'm just looking at the preview in the editing software. So I can't tell if I'm on scene 2 or scene 3. But I'll guess and I'll say I'm on scene 2, and then I'll take it from there. And if I'm wrong, oops. So here it's a close-up of Peter. Ooh, that was a mouthful. So this was a close-up of Peter Parker. I'm gonna avoid saying a close-up of Peter Parker, where the camera just goes into him and we record his part. So now we're going to the final portion of Miles, where he talks, and then what will happen is that the dialogue will shift over to Tom Holland's Peter Parker. So here you can see I tried to make him look like he's crossing his legs, but the animation it didn't look too nice, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll have to put a pause on it and try to do something else. So here you can see it's compositing. I'm glad it's coming together, everything is working out, and here I'm just playing around with the head movements and making him look like he's being active. So the other thing that I like about this project is that I know that in future I can always come back and use these characters in another project should I want to. So it's not like once they're used in one project they can't be used in another project, and I think that's the advantage of puppeteering animation or puppet animation, or I think that's the technical term, is that the characters are not restricted to the scene that you've created them in. You can always move them about in another animation or project, so you're not too restricted. So that's the advantage of this. So especially if you're making your own storytime animation or you creating your own fan fiction, is that you can always recycle the characters over and over again without having to worry. Because I know with these characters, I'll probably use them somewhere else. Even the burgers and the chips, I'll probably use them somewhere else. So we on the 10-minute mark. The keyword for this project is what can we use? What can we use? 613, is that the Earth? Multiverse. Let's use multiverse in the comments. So if you've made it this far, please put multiverse in the comments. I know that you've made it this far, and it helps a lot. So please, if you've made it this far, consider putting multiverse in the comments section, and please subscribe. Lots of projects on my channel. Nice project, a variety of different types of projects. We've got Graham Stephan, we've got Twilight, we've got Smeagol, so many. So please check them out and do consider subscribing. So going back to the project, so here again I was just playing around with Peter, giving him his motion, and I've reached a point where I remember the first time I used to struggle with these eye movements and the bone movement, and I thought it was a lot of work, but I think because I've done so many, and I think the experience is sort of building up, that it's actually much faster than it used to be. Because with this animation, it took not the overall project, but me creating the final project in total, just this video, me recording this video in particular. This video was it was 1 hour and 20 minutes. So this video was actually less time than it took to create Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Can you believe that? So that's why I always say that animation is the fastest part of animating for me in any case. What takes time is the character designs, the backgrounds, and then animation is like, it takes up like, I don't know, 20% of everything else. So here I'm just adding the what am I adding? Oh, I think I was playing around with the camera movement and also deciding where the next scene will end. And if you're keeping track, I've lost track of what scene I'm on because it's very vague for me to see, but I think we're getting there. We're not exactly close to the end, but we're getting there. And the other unique thing about this project was that it's a project that I hadn't. Usually I take my compositions to After Effects and I put them together and I put some little nice effect on them, but with this one I actually didn't put it in After Effects. So there was nothing, I don't think there was anything necessary that I would have added. I thought maybe I could have added like a lens flare for the sun and all that stuff, but I don't have lens flare on this computer that I'm using on. The license that I have it on is on another machine, and that machine is currently stored away and I'm too lazy to convert the licenses. It's too much hassle. But I think in future, just to make the things look nice, I will have to migrate my licenses. I'm hoping it's something that I think Video Copilot does, and hopefully I can migrate my licenses. Okay, so here we're just adding the final, well, not the final, but we're working on the final scene, or working towards the final scene, where it's a bit awkward for both of them, and then Peter's like, oh, okay, I thought it was really cool. And then we should be coming to the close of the project, but still lots of ways to go. We still have 3 minutes to go, or 2 minutes rather. So stick around, you've made it this far, so just, commit till the end, as they say. So here we're working on the eyes, and again, just a lot of copying and pasting, and you can see I'm just playing around with the eyebrows, making him look alleviated. I don't know what that word means, but it came to mind, and I hope I'm using it in the right context. So here the clouds, I just had to move them a little more because they did kind of end before the animation ended. So I was like, oh geez, that's not good. So yeah, so I had to move them a bit. Again, I tried to make them look like they're drinking, but it didn't work out the way. It didn't look too nice, to be honest. So the only thing that I could do, I was like, okay, we're gonna put the birds back. So what I did was I made sure that the birds flew in the other direction as well. So I don't know why they haven't eaten their burger or chips yet. I hope they know that it's gonna get cold up there, but it doesn't seem like they mind. So anyways, we're coming to the close of this project. Just a few more features to do, and then we're gonna be closing. So I'm just gonna put my final messages and thoughts. This project was nice, it was special, it looked really like my projects, like it had so much of my features that I could recognize, so it was nice. So thank you for making it this far. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate it, and I can't say more enough thank yous. So 1,000 thank you to you guys. So check out the final video now.
Are you from another dimension? Like a parallel universe where things are like this universe but different? And you're Spider-Man in that universe, but somehow travel to this universe, but you don't know how?
I'm sorry, you're saying there's a multiverse? Because I thought that was just theoretical. I mean, that completely changes how we understand the initial singularity. We're talking about an eternal inflation system, and how does that even work with all the quantum? It's insane. Sorry. It's really cool.